This always happens really in major marriages, right? And whether Harry and Meghan want to admit these problems in their marriage, well, it's very much there to see, isn't it? I've mentioned this to you before. What you can see with Harry is he's finding it a lot harder to paint on that fake smile, that fake persona that really she's very, very good at. Before, if you remember, Harry was more than happy to push Meghan forward to make sure that people met her. He was always touching her back, wanting to show her off. What we saw last month in New York was Harry literally at his wit's end. If you remember, he looked disinterested, there when she was giving her speech. He took the microphone back. You knew that he was bored rigid and he didn't want to be where he was. But the problem that you have is the fact that between both of them, they're both now blaming each other for what's gone wrong behind the scenes. And this is where it gets interesting with the 10th publicist. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you for your time. Yes, I'm talking to you. Welcome all. And of course, I hope you keep her well, whatever you're doing. Do you love I love these boxes, don't you? Just love finding them. Apparently there's two in London. I'm going to try and track them down where they've got two ciphers of different monarchs because they put the one in afterwards. And oh, do you? Yes, we get excited by things like this. Am I tragic? Just do I like stuff like that? I don't know. It's just me. I find it fascinating, you know. Always good to share this sort of stuff with you though. As you know, Meghan and Harry recently lost their 10th publicist. And, you know, as I mentioned to you recently, Emily Robinson was trying her very best to reposition Meghan Markle as somebody that could be seen as, you know, relatively palatable, right? And there lies your problem. It's difficult because your persona in the public domain is that you've not been successful. Happens to all celebrities, but if you're an actress or a singer or a dancer, you can reinvent, come back with a better look. Sadly for Meghan, that's not the case. It's not happening. I don't see it happening anytime soon. But according to an ex-staff member that worked very well alongside them, in Meghan's sort of darker moments, she believes that part of the problem of their issues, as it were, leaving the monarchy and moving forward, was all down to the fact of this. You see, if you remember when Prince Harry in 2016 sat down alongside the Queen, and if you remember, he did that very funny video back to the Obamas to, you know, let them know about the Invictus coming forward, all that sort of stuff. And he amazingly got the Queen to sort of say that lovely phrase, you know, oh really? And it was just so nice to see her relaxing. In Harry's version of events, you know, it was very much that she would do anything for him. She was very supportive. She wanted it to be a success. And I'm sure she did. She was clearly that sort of lady to both of her grandchildren, all of her grandchildren, you know. So Harry's just painted himself as being the special one. What's interesting though is you see that then later down the line, when they cruelly decided that, you know, the Queen didn't own the word royal, and of course the discourteous problem of Meghan curtsying on camera, all of course a pack of lies, the secret wedding, you know all of that. But what was interesting was, according to this particular source, well, Meghan blamed Harry for their failure to take off as an international couple, a power couple, given the fact that apparently, and again I have to say allegedly, well, if you could get the Queen to do that, how could you have got that Sandringham summit so wrong? Now remember, this was when Meghan wanted to phone in from Toronto or Canada, wherever they were living at the time, to basically be part of a discussion with the most powerful and famous woman in the world. She couldn't fly because she was pregnant. And so the bottom line was she was just going to dial in and dictate her terms. Now, according to that source, apparently Meghan has always stated that if she'd have been part of that deal, that conversation, then this would have truly never been the mess that it was in. Of course, the sort of public consumption is that, well, actually, this is because of the pandemic and everything they did. But we've had this story from Meghan time and time again. You know, she couldn't get a TV show going because of the LA fires, but, you know, miraculously, other shows launched at that particular time. And this has been the bugbear because now, according to that source, well, the problem is she sees Harry as somebody who can't drive things forward. And not only that, she believes that unless she takes the lead, they're doomed on the professional stage. Regarding the 10th publicist, well, quite frankly, I think they got fed up of, as many people do, the early morning emails. And this is really interesting. sort of insight into this. Apparently Meghan would send you an email at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and she would put at the bottom of the email, you feel free to respond in the fullness of time. But as that person pointed out to me, it was never really like that, because if you didn't respond in a certain amount of time, there was another email saying, checking you received this. So you understand why people really probably had enough after a short time? And consequently, whatever you agreed at that point when you'd answered the email back wasn't the way that you'd finished the agreement by the time maybe you got to the office or finally had the meeting. So you can understand, it must be difficult being Harry, living with such an explosive character, and for all the staff that have now gone out that door inside the Montecito mansion. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.